Hey, welcome back to the Vinyl Narrative. Now, Bloc Party are one of my favourite, if not my favourite bands of all time. Now, they kind of came into my life at the perfect time, right when I was coming to the end of my kind of school years, and I was kind of getting properly into music and playing guitar. And they were just really a band that made me kind of appreciate music and what it could be about and what I loved about it as well. And honestly, Bloc Party are probably the bands that kind of got me into vinyl in the first place, because they always released their albums and their singles on these nice kind of collectible and lovely pressed 7 inches and 12 inches, and then the albums, of course. So I kind of collected everything that they pretty much put out. So yeah, I'd say they kind of turned me into a vinyl collector. And I first heard Bloc Party do a live session for Steve Lamacq on BBC Radio 1. And I believe they were playing Little Thoughts, and that's the song that kind of made me stand up and pay attention to them straight away. It was kind of that post-punk energy, the driving guitars and the absolute driving rhythm section behind that. They were just kind of everywhere from then on, and I was always hunting down releases and the chance to listen to them, whether or not that was BBC Radio 1 or Radio 6, reading about them in MTV magazine, watching them on MTV2 where their music videos would always play. And then around that time, of course, we had the kind of blogosphere, where you had the kind of Hype Machine website where they had these really cool playlists and links to all these cool blogs that you could read about all this new music coming out, and Bloc Party were often on that. And when Silent Alarm dropped in February 2005, right around my birthday at the time, I just played it to death. I'd already had all the singles, all the EPs, so I finally having their debut album in my hands was just, it just felt massive to me in my younger years. And I can still remember doing my paper rounds back in the day near where I lived, with my MP3 player in the blistering cold and listening to tracks like Blue Light or, Positive Tension or So Here We Are, and that just kind of spurred me on to kind of finish my paper round and get home in the warmth and listen to more Bloc Party. So 20 years later, they've kind of done what I always wanted them to do. A deluxe box set celebrating this incredible era of the band. And to say this is my most anticipated release of the year is probably an understatement. I've been both super excited about this coming out, as well as really nervous about it coming out, because their new label, Play It Again Sam, or Pious as they're kind of known as, they've kind of got the rights to Bloc Party's catalogue, and so far I've not been overly impressed with their output under this label, but so I was a bit nervous that they might do this wrong. But today I want to dig into what I've received and give you a little bit of first impressions about it. So here we go. So for the 20th anniversary, there are actually 3 versions of Silent Alarm that you can now pick up. So there is the standard 2 LP edition, which you can get for £30 off the Bloc Party website, as well as other retailers and indie stores as well. And this is actually the first time that Silent Alarm has been pressed to 2 LPs since 2005. So that is just the standard album spread across 2 LPs. Cut at 33 RPM. And then you have the Deluxe CD edition, which is the album as well as a disc of rarities, B-sides, live tracks or live sessions rather, and some demos as well. And then finally we have this, the 4 LP Deluxe 20th Anniversary Box Set. Now within this, you get the standard album pressed on 2 LPs. You also get another album. It's pressed on 2 LPs again, but it's the bonus tracks, the B-sides, the rarities, the live sessions, and the demos as well. You also get a 24-page booklet, which we'll get into. You get a lithograph of the album artwork as well alongside that, which is a lovely little touch. So let's have a look in this box set. This is the box set itself. As you can see, it's quite a thick box set, and you've got Bloc Party Silent Alarm on the spine there, as well as the catalogue code, the Pious catalogue code. If I hide my face, that should focus. There we go. yeah, the Pius catalogue code rather than the Wichita Recordings code, of course. And then you also get that duplicated on the other side of the box set. And then on the back, you've kind of got the track listing as well, which I'll just let you have a look at there. And then on the front, we have the lovely artwork, the original artwork that we saw, which was actually a photograph by Ness Sherry, a lovely photograph that I've been admiring for 20 odd years now. And I can just point out that the lettering of the band there is embossed as well, so that's a nice little extra touch. And this is a clamshell box set case, so it's nice and thick and sturdy. It's not like a weak one, so I think this is going to last a long time. My only worry is that, of course, it's white, so I need to find some sort of sleeve for this to make sure it stays white. And then before we get into the box, I'll just show you the hype sticker that it comes with. There you go. So yeah, 20th anniversary, 4LP vinyl, and then a bit of a description about what's in there. But they have actually omitted one of the extras that you get that I'll show you in a second, which is a nice little surprise because it's one of the first things you notice when you open up the box set, which is this, a nice lithograph of the artwork from Ness Sherry. And I've always toyed with the idea of getting this print from her website and framing it, but the fact that they've included this is a nice little touch, so I don't necessarily need to do that. If I ever met her, I might even get it signed on the back or something. That'd be lovely, I think. But yeah, nice little extra, a nice little lithograph, which I'll probably just keep in the box set for now. And then next up, after that, you get the booklet. So the 24-page booklet with some lovely photographs of the band from this era of recording and touring. So I've never seen that photo before, and there's loads in here that I've not seen. And as you could probably tell from the intro, I'm a bit of a Bloc Party sicko. So yeah, I know a lot about the band, and I've been following them since the early years. But yeah, you get a lovely foreword by Paul Epworth there, and you also get a foreword by it's Rebecca Nicholson, I believe. And I believe she was on the live circuit with them back in the day. So that's a nice little read. Just to talk about the impacts that Bloc Party had on the club scene as well, on the live music scene. And I'll just quickly flick through the pictures. So yeah, there's Kelly in what I assume is like a disused swimming pool or something, I'm not sure. So there's some more photos of the band, and then it starts to get into the lyrics of the album. And I'll just try and quickly flick through these because I don't want to spoil all the content for those who might want to pick this up and be surprised still. So yeah, great photos there of the band. Which some of these have come from Matt Tong's photograph archive that he's got of the band. Some are from Gordon Mokes, I believe, as well, from his archives. And then there's some live photography. And I will just find out because it does mention who did those photographs in a minute. There you go, more lyrics. And then a fantastic picture there. One of my favourite picture in this booklet actually of Matt Tong just absolutely hammering the drums there as he used to back in the day. And yeah, lovely stuff. And a nice picture at the end, like I said, to close it. So there we go. It's Carmelita Morales is the other photographer that provided photos for this. So it's Gordon, Matt and Carmelita. Yeah, a nice little booklet. I'm looking forward to giving that a deep dive read. There's not a lot of liner notes there, but it'll be interesting to read, especially what Paul Epworth says about the band and the recording process as well. So next up in the set, we get the regular album, which is, like I said, cut across 2 LPs. This is a nice kind of thick cardstock, not overly thick, not like a Stelton jacket or anything, but nice thick. I think this is reverse board. It kind of feels like reverse board, matte finish. No embossing or anything like that, but yeah, just kind of as it came, apart from the fact this is actually a gatefold. So yeah, first time that Silent Alarm has been on a gatefold, which what they've done is they've used the the printed inner sleeve art from the UK release on the inside of the gatefold, and there's the track listing there, which I'm sure if you know this album, you know what the track listing is. Inside, what they've done, instead of that kind of artwork repeated again, they've got some printed kind of paper inner sleeves there on the nice grey, yeah, it's a nice grey tone, which is effectively the same as the band's typeface on the front. And there's a bit of detail about the mastering of this set and recording. So obviously this album was produced by the incredible producer, Paul Epworth, and it was recorded and engineered by Elliot James as well, who's a fantastic recording engineer. I've got quite a few of his albums because he did a lot of work with Paul Epworth. And then, yeah, it just talks about the cover photograph from Necessary. And this album, of course, was dedicated to Peter Mokes, which was Gordon Mokes' dad, the bassist's dad. And there's the track listing of the first LP there. And then if I move on to the second, kind of similar again, you've got the track listing and you've got the kind of the negative of the artwork there. There's the track listing of the second LP. And then it's just plain on the other side, which is okay. So interesting that they've gone with that. This is also if we dig into the vinyl, this is pressed on white vinyl and it's pressed at Optimal Media. So we've got if I switch it around the right way for you, there we go. You've got the labels, which has got the artwork on. And then you've got that other label that's got the track listing on. Pressed on white vinyl on both discs of this set, and also the other set is also on white vinyl. Pressed at Optimal Media, and the album has been cut by Stefan Tenner at Optimal Media, and you can tell that by the ST that's in the dead wax. There's the other disc for you. There's the artwork. Annoyingly, they are in the kind of paper sleeves, or they're kind of thick paper sleeves, I guess. I'll be cleaning them and re-sleeving them anyway, because that's what I do. So that's the regular album out the way, and then we get the bonus album with this set. So we have the Bloc Party B-sides and rarities and demos and live collection, if you will. And as you can see, they've kind of copied the artwork of Silent Alarm, but they've got a nice blue tint to the artwork and the text there. And this is effectively another duplication of the record in terms of its artwork. So you've got the track listing on the back on this nice stark white backgrounds, but then they've copied the kind of art from the album gatefold as well. So nothing new in this bit, which is maybe a bit of a disappointment, but I can see why stylistically they wanted to do that. And then the inner sleeves with this bonus album, you get these nice blue inner sleeves with the negative of the artwork there. That's the track listing of the, is that the first disc? Yeah, the first disc that we get with this. And then we get plain blue on the back. And then on the other disc, we get this track listing, which is effectively the live sessions and the demos on this side. And then a bit of information about the mastering. Now, it says at the top there, box set mastering by Nick Watson at Fluid Mastering. I think Nick would have done the mastering to the digital file. I don't know if he cut the lacquer for this record, because I've not noticed his name in the dead wax, but there is some sort of initial or mark in the dead wax, but I've not worked out who it is. But yeah, bit of information about all of the demos and stuff and where they were recorded, which a lot of these tracks, some of them are leftovers from the original recording of the album by Paul Epworth and Elliot James. Some of them are demos which were produced by Mark Albury, Scott McCormick and Bloc Party at Sony Studios in London. So these are very early demos. Just from seeing those names pop up, I know my history of Bloc Party, and those are very early demos. So let's get into the actual track listing of this. So we have on this disc, Little Thoughts, Skeleton, Storm and Stress, and those are 3 tracks that were released on the Little Thoughts EP, and that actually came out for Record Store Day this year as well. Then we move on to Always New Depths, and this is the first time Always New Depths has featured on 12-inch vinyl, as far as I'm aware. Then we have Staying Fat, which is an EP track, and you can kind of see the EP in the background there, that red disc or vinyl up there, which is a great song. Then we have Tulips, which is also from the Little Thoughts EP. And then we get into the kind of post-album single that was 2 More Years, fantastic song, love that record. And again, I think that's the first time that's featured on 12-inch vinyl as well. Then we get into the original version of She's Hearing Voices, and this was actually the single version that that Bloc Party released. I do have that somewhere, the 7-inch of that. It's a red 7-inch, and I've also got a black 7-inch of it. But yeah, great song, and you can tell it's very different to the album version as well. Then we get those EP tracks, the remainder of those red EP's tracks. So we've got The Marshalls Are Dead, got The Answer, and that's it from that EP. Those that are trying to find out what version of The Marshalls Are Dead we're getting, I can confirm it's the EP version. It's not the Paul Epworth, very studio produced version that I believe was actually considered for a single at one point, and also inclusion on the regular track listing of Silent Alarm. But it's not that version, sadly, even though I love it. And to close off that first disc, you get The Present, which is an incredible song in Bloc Party lore. Loads of fans absolutely love that song and consider it some of their best work. That was actually just a B-side. Actually, not really a B-side. It was a standalone track that was recorded for the Help album. That was like a compilation of albums that went towards the War Child charity. And then the closing track is Every Time Is the Last Time, which is actually a bonus track that you get right at the start of some CDs of Silent Alarm, as well as the US pressing kicks off the album with this song as well. Then on disc 2, we get some live sessions and demos. So we've got the BBC Peel session of So Here We Are, Tulips, Luno and Compliments, and then the demos that we get, which are kind of like the creme de la creme of this set. We get Banquet, This Modern Love, The Pioneers, So Here We Are, Helicopter, Price of Gasoline and Skeleton. And these are some of the demos that I've never heard before, so I was super excited to pick these up. I've heard the Banquet demo before, and I believe I've heard a demo of This Modern Love as well, but that's the only ones I've heard. So yeah, really excited to finally own those, and that's the second album that you get in this box set. Okay, now sound-wise on this album, this is the thing that I was most nervous about, because every reissue of Silent Alarm since the original UK and US pressings back in 2005 has been quite disappointing. They were all 1 LP versions, and it just crams too much music onto each side of the vinyl, and that always just led to like compression and distortion as well. Especially when it got, the mix gets a bit more intense. Tracks like She's Hearing Voices and Luno, they always kind of, towards the latter half of those, they got a bit messy and distorted. But this time rounds, they've really nailed it, right? They've spread this album across 2 discs, which I think is the way it needs to be. It just lets the album breathe, and there's more headroom, and there's more clarity as well. And Stefan Tenner has done a fantastic job with the remastering of this album. He's really cleaned up this record, so he cleaned up that distortion and really kind of opened up the instrument separation. And for an album recorded in digitally, and also during the peak of the kind of indie years, if you will, it's actually surprisingly dynamic. On my system, it just sounds great. Everything cuts through really, really nicely. The bass and drums are there especially. You might say a downside to it, I guess, of him cleaning it up is that maybe it's lost a bit of that excitement because he's tamed the highs. But to me, I think this might be the definitive version of Silent Alarm. I'm yet to do a shootout against the original US copy, which is what I think is the current winner of that title. But yeah, for me, this sounds really, really good, and I'm really pleased that they let Stefan Tenner around it, to be honest. And then the bonus album, obviously this sounds great too, but it's, obviously their demos and their live takes, not everything that's been recorded, mixed and mastered at the same level. But overall, I'm just really happy to have all of these tracks in one place that I can just put on and easily listen to and kind of skirt back to 2005 and 2006 again. Is it worth £115 for this 4 LP box set? I think it's a brilliant anniversary celebration that's clearly been made with a lot of love and care. It's full of extras that will make any Bloc Party fan happy that they can pick this up. But I do think that price is going to push some fans out and prevent them from buying it. Personally, I think this probably should have been priced at more like £99 or £100, call it that, because then it just makes it more available for everyone. But overall, I'd rate it a solid 8.5 out of 10. I'm really impressed with this and really happy with the way it turned out, especially the pressing and the quality. It's quiet. As in, like, the vinyl is quiet, it's not too noisy, especially for white vinyl, and the quality's there. It's not warped or anything like that. I just wish it was a touch cheaper, so more people could enjoy it, I think. But what do you think? I've given you a quick rundown or semi-quick rundown of this box set. Will you be planning to pick it up? Have you pre-ordered it? Or are you just going to stick with the pressing that you've got in your collection? Let me know in the comments, and thank you very much for watching today. I'll catch you on the next one.